In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the symbiotic relationship between this beautiful tree and a beautiful bird that's here right now by the hundreds, and how they help each other and why they're good for nature and what you can do to help them survive and prosper. So let me get into it. This is an Amelanchier. This is Amelanchier canadensis, serviceberry, I think Juneberry. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's Amelanchier canadensis. Now there's a lot of species of Amelanchier, and most of them are in the Northeast in the United States. There's a couple in Canada. There's a lot in Canada. There's a couple in Europe, a couple in Asia, but most of them are in North America. They pretty much all make flowers, and they pretty much all make berries, and they're really a beautiful plant. Actually, when I did the garden in April, I showed you the flowers. I'm going to put that in this video so you can see how pretty they are in flower. They're beautiful. And there's a little bird. There's a lot of birds, actually, that rely on these berries. Normally, this tree would be loaded with berries, but they've been eating them. So these are the berries. They're not ripe yet. They need to be purple when they're ripe, but they're ripe enough for the birds. And the bird I'm going to talk about, show you some pictures of, and maybe some videos. It's been hard for me to get videos because they're in and out, and they're so fast, is the Cedar Waxwing. It's an absolutely gorgeous bird. And they're kind of in sync with the trees. So there's a few that hang around here all winter, but most of them head south for the winter. They don't go too far. They go mostly southern United States. Some might go to Central America, but it's not a long-range migrant like some of the warblers. And they seem to know when the service berries, when the Amelanchier, are going to be almost ripe and good to eat. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's just hundreds of them show up, and they just devour these little berries. Normally, there's so many here, and they're good to eat. They're good for people, you know. Normally, you know, when I'm working in the garden, I eat a couple, take a handful, but I don't think I'm going to get any this year because they're not quite ripe yet, and the birds are just demolishing them, which is a good thing, you know. So these trees help these birds, and these birds help these trees because they spread the seed around when they poop, because they eat the berry with the seed and all. And also these seeds are helped by going through the digestive system of the bird, and it kind of scarifies the seed. The seeds have a hard coating, and this makes them it makes it a little easier for the seed to germinate, you know. So they help each other, you know. The birds need these plants because a lot of these birds are still heading north, and the plants need the birds. Now, in another month, when all these berries are gone, most of the Cedar Waxwing will go with them. And they'll probably go north, and where it's a little cooler, and the service berries and other berries are just getting ripe, and they'll kind of follow that trail all the way up the East Coast. Some will stick around all summer, and they will breed. And there's always some berries. They also eat insects, and once they have babies, from what I understand, the first week or so of the little nestlings, they need insects, they need caterpillars, they need that protein, you know. Not a lot of protein in berries and fruit. Then in the fall, our fall plants that berry, the ilexes and some dogwoods, some different species, the lindera, I can't think of the common name, but the spice bush. So their berries are all getting ripe then, and they're ready to eat. And then as the birds head south, there'll be huge flocks of them here again, you know. Unfortunately, one of the things that they feast on is Amur honeysuckle, which is an awful invasive plant from Asia. And then they'll be spreading their seeds too. And you know, it's a plant that leaves out before everything else, and they kind of shade out all the native plants. It's a really terrible, terrible invasive plant. And unfortunately, the cedar waxwing and robins and catbirds, the same birds that are going to be eating these berries, will be spreading those seeds too, which isn't good. But so I'm going to show you some of my videos, which are not wonderful because it's hard to, these birds are so fast and they're in and out. It's hard to get pictures of them. But I'll put them in there. You can see the birds coming in and out. And I have a lot of stills, some beautiful still pictures that you'll be able to check out and see what these pretty birds look like. The guys do their best to keep it clean and maintained, and they cut the lawns. But unfortunately, keeping a mowed lawn around these trees is not ideal. And you'll see what I'm going to show you what they look like compared to these beautiful trees. And so there's some other things you can do. I mean, if you're able to, if you have some property and you can plant some trees, plant one of the species of Amelanchier that will grow by you. They'll make beautiful, beautiful white flowers in April. And then all these berries, which you can eat, which are delicious and they're nutritious actually, but the birds are probably going to beat you to them, which is good, because then you're growing plants for nature and you're helping these birds stay healthy and survive on their migration north. There are other things you can do. One of these days I'm going to do a video on eBird, but in the meantime you can go on YouTube and type in eBird and you'll get all these tutorials. eBird is something that anybody can do. It's great for retirees because we have the time. And you can document birds like these cedar waxwing, and then the scientists will look at this documentation and they'll take all this data and figure out if the population is increasing, decreasing, you know, is it staying the same, are these birds in trouble? You know, so eBird is really a good thing that you guys and gals can do. Retired people, it's a perfect thing for retired people. You know, and you might actually find you really enjoy bird watching and get into it, which is, again, something that retired people can do for nature, you know, and you'll learn all about these things, you know. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these videos. You know, they're so-so, but the still pictures are nice, and you can get an idea of what I'm talking about and how these birds go crazy. And then I'm going to show you this tree from a little bit of a distance, how beautiful. These are my trees. These are 3 trees in my hill garden, and I have been protecting these trees for the last, even though the garden is only around 7 years old, I've been an advocate for these particular trees for more than 10 years, and I've kept the guys from mowing around them, you know. The problem is, so this tree likes to be moist. Usually in the wild it would grow along the edges of forests. Maybe there's streams nearby. The soil might be a little clay-like. They like moist soil. But when you take this tree, and the same thing happens with like a native dogwood, you put it out in the middle of a lawn and you mow right up to it all the time. The soil gets very hot in the summer, very dry. Grass is not a, you know, lawn grass, it's not native, and it's not a good protectant of the soil. And then the roots suffer, and then the tree suffers. In the wild, just like here, there would be a lot of plants growing all around it, and they shade the soil. They keep the soil a little more moist. The tree makes a nice head like these have. They also help to shade the soil. They shade their roots, you know, and the trees flourish. But I'm going to show you what happens when you put it in the middle of the lawn and you nick it with the weed whacker and you hit it with the lawnmower and there's no understory, then the trees really suffer. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'll show you what you might be able to do to help save some trees in your. These trees were planted in lots and lots of parkland all across the United States, the northern tier of the United States. They plant these trees because they're so beautiful. You know, they get beautiful white flowers in the spring, just covered, and then the berries, and then in the fall they get gorgeous orange and red and yellow foliage, you know. So they're often parked, but then they're not taken care of. So, you know, I'll make a suggestion of what you can do to help protect them. Okay, hang in there. We're going to go look at First, I'll show you this tree from a little distance, see how beautiful it is, and then we're going to go look at some that are not so beautiful. All right. Let's see if we can get these Cedar Waxwings in here. They are just eating up those service berries. You can get a close-up of any of them. Oh, there's one. Oh. Yeah, they don't stick around long. Let me see. Oh, there's one right there. Cedar Waxwing, by the dozen. Here it comes. Here are my trees across the way. There's 3 of them. You know, this one looks like it's got a peak to it, but that's actually a tree behind it. And they're nice and full, and they're beautiful. And they're full of berries and full of birds, and they're really healthy. And like I said, I've been protecting these trees for many years. Let's take a look at one out here in the lawn. So this one is in the lawn, and it's sparse, and it's struggling, and the foliage isn't really very pretty. It does have berries. It has berries on it, and the Cedar Waxwing are coming through. But this is not a happy tree. This is not a full, beautiful tree. And the reason is there's no growth underneath it, you know. There's just grass. There's nothing, and this gets dry and hot in the summer. And look at all these dead branches. It's a shame, really. And if they would allow it to grow and have some understory, you know, it would help. It would definitely help. You know? So that's something that you can do. You can go to your local park, say to the supervisor, like I did, you know, hey, listen, you know, can I do something to help this tree? Can I plant some plants around it and then rope it off so the guys don't mow too close to it, they don't nick it, you know? Hey, what do you got to lose? They might say, no, there's insurance reasons or whatever. But in my case, you know, they were like, oh, no problem. Go ahead, go for it. And I was able to maintain those 3 trees that are what became later my hill garden. You know, at the time, there were mostly invasive plants under it, but at least there was something under it to shade it a little bit, and it didn't get whacked with the weed whacker or the lawnmower, you know. So that's something you can do. Like I said, if you can, plant one of these species, you know. You'll, trust me, you'll be happy that you did, because it's absolutely beautiful tree, you know. Gets lots of beautiful white flowers in April. I'm going to show you that if I haven't already. I think I did. And all the birds that come. And in the fall color is absolutely gorgeous, and you can get berries for yourself if the birds leave you any to eat. So it's just a win-win-win-win. And like I said, then the birds, you know, they will poop out the seeds, and the seeds will germinate someplace else, maybe in the forest, and you get another nice native plant. Also, there are caterpillars that feed on this, moth and butterfly caterpillars and other insects. And then the other birds, the songbirds, like the little sparrows and yellow warblers that live over here, well, then they'll pick off those caterpillars, and they need literally thousands and thousands of these caterpillars to raise one brood of babies, you know, one nest full of babies. So it's just a win-win-win-win, you know. protecting our native plants and our native trees and shrubs, just so important. And there's something you can do. You can find something, you know. And then, like I said, you'll get outside, you'll breathe fresh air. You'll want to learn about this stuff, I hope. You'll go online, you'll pick up books, you'll go to the library. You will exercise your brain. And that's just so important. It's so important at our age, because we do not want to get, you know, cognitive issues at all. We know how horrible that is. So exercise your brain, exercise your body, help the planet, help the birds, help these beautiful trees. And, you know, now that you're retired, retire for nature. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little video. And I'm going to, like I said, I'll have some pictures in here. Hopefully you'll enjoy them too. Thank you very much. I'll see you the next time, I hope.